Bonjour mes amis, hi guys, I want to share my experience of the Tudor Black Bay 58 after a couple of days and nights on the wrist. Obviously this relationship between me and the Baselworld 2018 darling is still at its infancy, but first impressions are impressions nonetheless, and you're here, so let's go there. It's been hailed many times as a perfect watch in terms of dimensions, build quality, movement, and looks package. And who am I to contest what is a fair assessment once you get to handle this beauty? What you might ask yourself is, what is this watch really? And where does it stand in the Tudor Rolex lineup? Should this be your first luxury watch? Should you hold off for a Rolex? And if you're like me and you've got a few Rollies, is it worth buying into the sister brand? This 58, as the name might indicate, is a modern version of late 50s Tudor Oyster Prince Submariners, which themselves were generic movement-powered versions of the Rolex subs of the day, such as the original James Bond watch, a reference 6538 Big Crown, I believe, and the resemblance is striking. Narrow lug shape with polished bevel, red triangle at 12 on the bezel, long triangle hour marker at 12 on the dial, big crown, stepped bracelets with rivets, even if they are not functional ones. Matte dial, same indices, same drop between the lugs and the end links even. Damn, did I just buy a Steinhardt or is this legit? I actually loved my Steinhardt red line. So well made and affordable, and sorry, but the original is kinda out of production and costs battered and bruised an arm and a leg. So I'm cool with the Steinies and homages done well. True vintage is another trip, a great pleasure, whether you seek unmolested examples or revel in the patina, imagining what each watch might have gone through before coming to you. Better have a large wallet though, and an appetite for risk when going that route. But here, rather than an homage or a reissue, we have something legit because, as I said, it's properly made, and most importantly, it's made by Rolex's cool, looser, naughtier sister brand. Sure, Rolex doesn't stray much from its original own designs, but they improve on them and don't revisit the past with actual reissues. Leave that to Omega and Longines and see who comes out ahead. It's like Ferrari. They could certainly remake the California, but these leading companies aren't about doing things twice for the sake of pleasing the punters. They lead the pack instead and just push forward. So Tudor got the job done in style. Speaking of which, the main departure from the Rolex vintage reference here is certainly the golden accents all over the place. It's just a color and one that marries well with black, but some people might tire of it or find it somewhat contrived. We'll see in the long term, but I do like the overall soft tones presentation that marries well with the off-white lume, which by the way glows light green and lasts all night. Just like me. 20 years ago, I always fell asleep after the once, if not right in the middle of it. What else might not be super duper great? The satin finish on the bracelet doesn't quite marry with the brushing of the case, giving it a bit of a downscale appearance made up for by the sturdiness of the overall bracelet. Sturdy too is the clasp, but why make the space to open the little latch so tiny that your nail is likely to scratch the polished surface underneath on the clasp? Then opening the clasp is a tad difficult and could break your nail all the same. It looks good though, with that shield motif, and you get 3 points of anchoring, but no easy link here unfortunately. So keep it loose enough so your wrist won't suffocate when swollen. Now the big question, if you are ready to step up to the 3 grand and up league, is this the one? Should you get an Omega diver instead? Because let me remind you that this is no couch slouch, it's an actual 200-meter diver with a very accurate movement that so far runs 1 second slow a day, and the feel-good thin bezel has a machine gun-like clicking sound and lines up well with very little backplay. Top that with a delightfully domed sapphire crystal and you get a smashing package for the price tag that's hard to match. So yes, if you prefer the vintage appeal of this watch to the more modern approach of a Seamaster or Planet Ocean, go for it. The other Seamaster, the 300, is the natural competition but costs a bit more than this. If you already have one or several Rolex like me, is this watch of any interest to you? I had one chance to buy this watch about 2 years ago after it came out, and then I never saw it again at an AD. Meanwhile, I had purchased a Sea Dweller 4000 and figured, why go down market? So I was a bit dismissive of the BB58. But when I got it in my hand at the AD the other day, I immediately got it. In a way that can't really be expressed through pictures and videos. This 58 wears great and looks fresh in a sea of submariners here in Hong Kong, where every housewife and her sisters have a Rolex Sports on the wrist. Had I gotten this watch 2 years ago, would I have bought my Sea Dweller later on? That's a harder question to answer. You know how the quest goes, we always look for the next thrill, but this Black Bay 58 sure ain't no cheap thrill. Bye bye guys.